Bites. Hello, listeners, and welcome back to Denodo Data Bites. You're tuning into our Executive Spotlight series, where we bring together Denodo executives and thought leaders to explore ideas, technologies, and strategies shaping the future of data. Today's episode dives into the rise of logical data management, a new O'Reilly publication by Christopher Gardner that explores how enterprises can unify, govern, and deliver data faster, smarter, and more effectively across today's hybrid and AI-driven environments. To discuss this important topic, we are joined by Ravi Shankar, Denodo's Senior Vice President and Chief Marketing Officer. With over 25 years of experience in enterprise software, Ravi has been a driving force behind Denodo's global growth and thought leadership in logical data management, data governance, and modern data strategies. We're also joined by Alberto Pan, Denodo's Executive Vice President and Chief Technical Officer. Alberto has led the development of every version of the Denodo platform and is one of the original architects of Denodo's logical approach to data management. We are very excited to have you both on board for this discussion today. So thank you for joining, Ravi and Alberto. With that, Ravi, I'll hand it over to you to lead today's conversation.
Thank you, Neha. Alberto, it's great to talk to you.
Thank you, Neha. Thank you, Ravi, for having me.
Awesome. Alberto, the logical data management has become a major theme in the industry lately. And we just published a new book, The Rise of the Logical Data Management, to help explain this concept to our audience. So for the context, this book that was authored by Christopher Gardner is designed as a guide both for the technical as well as for the business leaders by explaining how the evolving landscape in the data as the organizations can use this logical data management to unify, govern, and deliver the data much more faster and readily across hybrid and AI-driven data environments instead of using the traditional data management approaches, which they have been doing it for many years. So this book is particularly important because it just does not cover the technology alone. It explains like the strategic impact of the logical data management, including the governance, scalability, business self-service, AI readiness, and so on. So the logical data layer is an approach that has been used for decades, Alberto. So why is it that we decided to write this book right now?
Well, good question. It's true that the problems that logical data management addresses have been around, I would say, for decades, right? For decades, data fragmentation has created bottlenecks and governance issues and lack of business context in the data delivered. But I think today there are two main factors that make logical data management more needed than ever. And the first one is hybrid and multi-cloud environments that make this data fragmentation problem probably worse than at any other time. And the second and most obvious is AI, right? Because AI applications and agents are as data hungry as your business users, and they also suffer from the same problems. Actually, a recent survey from the MIT found that only 5% of companies are using successfully their internal data with AI applications in production. So the problems are clearly there, and logical data management helps you to address these problems directly. It creates this single logical layer, allowing you to access the data where it lives and delivering real-time trusted data in the language of the business without forcing you to first do any massive data replication. And this accelerates time to data, simplifies governance, and also unlocks your data for both humans and also, of course, for AI agents, as I just mentioned.
Yeah, I agree. So for the audience, to understand this particular analogy, like the logical data management is like an organized system where you don't need to own all the data, but you know where exactly to go and find it. It's just like when you walk into a library, the first place you go is to look at the catalog and find out the book based on the author, in which section it is, what shelf it is, and so on. So the logical data management holds the metadata that enables you to go and find the data wherever it is. So it makes it very easy to kind of grasp. Now, coming back to the book, Christopher has written some major architectural patterns like data mesh, data fabric, and so on. These architectural patterns are widely implemented in the industry, and he explains how the logical data management forms the basis for these complex architectures. Now, Alberto, you are an architecture guy. So, how does logical data management help simplify these complex architectures?
Well, yes, I think Christopher does a great job in the book explaining that logical data management is the technology foundation, right, to simplify the creation or the implementation of both the data fabric and the data mesh. So let's start, for instance, with the data fabric. Well, the data fabric, as probably the listeners know, is the data management architecture of the future, of the next generation, according to many of the leading analysts in the market, right, like Gartner and Forrester. And in the data fabric, the goal is to create this intelligent layer that is fueled by AI, that unifies the distributed landscape with consistent semantics and governance. So, well, the logical data management is that unified layer, right? This connects directly with the definition of logical data management. So this layer can provide the semantic glue and also all the metadata and the business semantics that the fabric's AI and automation tools need to work. And for a data mesh, logical data management is also a great accelerator because it greatly simplifies two of its core principles, right? The first one would be the concept of data product, because logical data management enables the business domains to create and share reusable data products from any data source in a very agile way. And the second concept is federated governance, right? That allows domains to own their data products while still letting central teams enforce global policies across all data products for compliance and interoperability. So, in summary, I think logical data management is the enabling technology that allows to actually build these concepts faster and also at a scale inside big organizations.
That is great to hear because many of our customers are actually using the logical data management to basically implement this data fabric, data mesh, and data products and so on in a governed way. Awesome. All right. So that brings me to the more technical concepts that Christopher discusses in the book, which are security, scalability, and performance. So, why does he need to discuss these concepts in this book?
Well, those are very important points, right? And you also know it, Ravi, because when we talk to customers and we explain to people the concept of logical data management, this idea of connecting distributed data, it's natural that they ask questions like, okay, but is this secure? Will this scale? Will it perform fast enough? So the book addresses these questions head on, going into the details, explaining, I think, very well how logical data management manages to deliver on all those three items: security, scalability, and performance, and without the trade-offs that other traditional approach often require, right? For instance, for a security standpoint, logical data management provides this single entry point to enforce security and governance policies across all data sources and all data consumers. Also helps a lot to minimize data copies, which simplifies governance a lot and reduce risks a lot. And from a scalability and performance perspective, I think the book makes a great job explaining relatively complex concepts in simple terms and explains in detail how a logical data platform like Denodo is able to combine advanced optimization techniques for distributed data execution, also to use several flavors of automatic and transparent caching, and even a native massive parallel processing engine to provide very good scalability and performance, even with very large data volumes and even in hybrid and multi-cloud scenarios. So I think that makes a great job explaining these relatively complex technical concepts to actually remove those concerns.
Okay, that's amazing because these are important topics as well to be addressed because this concerns our customers quite a bit. Now, going on to the next one, which is we know the AI is taking everything by storm. The book touches very much on it, and it talks about how logical data management fuels the readiness of AI, data for AI, I should say. To me, it is one thing to have the data, and it's another thing to have it in a way that it can be explained and compliant and accessible for these AI models and agents to be able to utilize that data and provide meaningful results. So, can you talk about how logical data management makes it possible, as Christopher explains in the book?
Yes, absolutely. I think this is one of the hottest applications of logical data management today. Logical data management makes data AI ready, I could say, in three key ways. First, it gives the AI applications and AI agents this single secure access point to all the data in the organization, no matter where it lives, and without the delay of first physically centralizing the data. Second, it provides this essential semantics and business context that AI agents need to be accurate. For instance, an AI cannot answer questions like what's our customer lifetime value if it doesn't know the specific business definition of that term in your organization, right? And actually how that definition maps to the actual data in your data sources. Not even a human could do it without that information, right? And logical data management allows you to include all those definitions and metrics in the definition of your data products. And this is the key to reducing hallucinations and ambiguity. And the third one is real-time data, because with logical data management, you can access data in real time, even from operational data sources. It can even allow AI agents to write data back to the source systems when needed. And this is very important in practice. Actually, for instance, a recent survey by The Economist found that data architects identified this lack of real-time support as the most important gap of traditional data management architectures when creating AI applications. So, in short, I think that logical data management really allows you to create a trusted, business-ready data foundation, which ensures that your AI-generated insights will be powerful and also reliable.
Right, that is true. And also, if you think about it, many of the teams or functions that are trying to enable AI projects like marketing, sales, finance, production, and so on, they just want the data to come to them so that way they can start using the data to improve the productivity of the processes that are all they're putting in place. And now, more recently, with the agentic AI. So it is important for these functions or the business users within these lines of businesses to be able to use the data by themselves without having to go and request it from IT all the time. So the self-service concept of having these business users get to the data by themselves is very important. And this is something that Christopher addresses in the book as well. And it's a new way of thinking for the IT teams. How do they give the data for the business users to be able to use it without compromising its integrity and security? So, can you give us some sense about like how the executor should be thinking about this particular shift?
Yes, you're right. This is a significant shift. It's not logical data management is not only a technology. It's also a framework for how an organization should think about their data. So yeah, it's also a way of changing the company work, right? From an executive perspective, it empowers the business teams, right? It maintains the centralized governance and maintains the security, but empowers business teams to access trusted and context-rich data on their own without waiting for IT to handle every request, right? Instead of getting data in weeks or months, they can start getting data in minutes. So this drives faster decisions, fuels innovation, and increases agility in general, right? And let me stress that at the same time, logical data management is able to keep self-service safe and compliant because you can establish policies and controls that will affect to all data sources, to all data consumers, so data leaders can retain control to prevent errors or misuse, right? So I think, yes, for executives, the key takeaway is that logical data management is not only a technology, it also enables a new type of strategy that democratizes data and allows database decision making to finally become a reality in organizations.
I love that. Technology is one thing, but also it needs to be enabled the strategy itself. So Let's say I'm an executive listening to it. I'm convinced the logical data management is the way to go. The question for me is like, where do I start? So what would you advise as the first step in this journey to logical data management?
Well, the first step probably would be downloading the book and reading it. But after that, I would say that the best part of logical data management actually is that you don't need a big bang approach. You can start small and show value almost immediately, right? So the first step for me would be picking one high impact business use case. And for this, you should choose a specific visible problem. I don't know, for instance, obviously this can change with the organization, but maybe creating a unified customer view or improving some type of analytics, of self-service analytics for a particular department, or maybe enabling AI insights in a particular area. And once you have demonstrated results on those use cases, you can then scale the logical layer gradually, connecting more data sources and expanding access to more things. So in a single sentence, it would be start small but significant, prove value, and then scale.
All right, that will be a great first step, Alberto. Now, can you actually talk about some of the use cases of customers have actually started with this and found value using the logical data management?
Yes, of course. Actually, I would like to recommend for this a recent report from the analyst firm Vector 8. They did a very interesting exercise because they compare several large organizations in several industries, and they compare the organizations in the same industry head to head, and they chose both organizations using logical data management and organizations in the same industries that use traditional data management, right? And the results, I think, were really striking because they found that companies using logical data management spend 75% less time in data integration and also get up to 4 times faster time to data, which is, I think, pretty amazing. So I would recommend taking a look to this report that is available in our website, because I think it gives a very good idea of how these benefits apply in practice.
That is an amazing ROI result. And I think it is due to the approach that the logical data management takes. Well, thank you, Alberto. It has been a fascinating conversation. To me, what stands out is how the logical data management, it's not just another architecture trend, it actually bridges the bridge to the trust, agility, and the intelligence, and it brings them all together. So by taking the logical approach, organizations can modernize how they manage, share, and activate the data without disrupting what is already working for them. So this is not a rip and replace, it's a coexistence with whatever they already have. So with that, thank you, Alberto, again, and Neha, over to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ravi and Alberto, for joining us on this episode. It was really good to hear more about the book and the highlights of the rise of logical data management. So I'm sure our listeners will take away some powerful ideas about how to build a more connected AI-ready data ecosystem. And to our audience, a link to access the full book, The Rise of Logical Data Management by O'Reilly, will be available on our podcast page, making it easy to dive deeper into the strategies and ideas discussed in this episode. Additionally, be sure to visit our resources section to explore more materials and insights related to logical data management. And a quick message to our listeners: if you enjoyed this episode, please head over to denodo.com/podcast to find out more resources on all things data.